Welcome, friends and foes, to the TCG Business Update, August 2026 edition. We've got interesting stuff happening. Pokemon 30th is coming up. And I think between that and this Rayquaza set, I think a lot of people are saving their money and dumping some of the stuff they have to try to move into that. And I think that is why I've seen sales slow in Pokemon specifically, among other reasons. But Pokemon 30th on the horizon, plus that Rayquaza set, a lot of people are looking at these current sets like Pitch Black, Perfect Order, Chaos Rising, and they're just like, I'm going to hold my money. I'm going to save my money. I'm saving up for this. So I think a lot, people only have so much money to spend on trading cards per year. And with 30th and the Rayquaza set happening, I think a lot of that money is being saved up for that instead. Plus, they just had the 30th pre-orders. Apparently, GameStop is doing Destined Rivals pre-orders for a reprint and stuff like that. And so a lot of money is moving into the really popular stuff. And so I'm seeing a lot more activity in the selling space. Like when I check Facebook Marketplace, which I check it almost every day and just kind of see what's going on, a lot of people are selling Pokemon, like collections and lots, and they've got whole collector links, and they're like, I'll sell at, a couple weeks ago, it was like, I'm selling at 95% market, 90% market, but more and more I'm seeing people, it's like 85, 80, and I'm seeing now people list lots on Facebook Marketplace for 70%, where they are advertising saying, hey, I want to get rid of this at 70%. That's crazy to me. But, I think people, in some ways, just times are kind of tough, and maybe people need to free up some cash. I think a lot of people, I'm seeing Perfect Order, Chaos Rising, all the sets that people don't like, I'm seeing those sealed on Facebook Marketplace, below market, pretty close to MSRP. I think people that don't really know what they're doing probably spent a lot of money on credit cards and stuff like that because they just assumed they'd be able to go out and double their money quickly, and that didn't happen with these last couple sets. So we've got a lot of this stuff happening in Pokemon that it seems like buying singles from me has slowed compared to previous seasons. We're in the summer slump, so that all makes sense to me. Now, that said, Union Arena and what else am I saying? Gundam. Union Arena and Gundam. Those are both staying pretty steady. I have almost exclusively bulk across everything that I have in my store. But I'm moving bulk cards for Union Arena and Gundam pretty consistently. And then I'm getting like large orders of bulk cards for both of those more frequently than I am for Pokemon. And so that's a signal to me that, people are playing these games. And I know for a fact that one of my local shops, one of their absolute biggest events is Union Arena. So I think that is still slept on. I'm very much, I love Union Arena. I just absolutely love it. I want a master set. Rurouni Kenshin, Full Metal Alchemist, and Yu Yu Hakusho for sure. Among other things, I just think it's a really great and fun product. I'm impressed with the Gundam cards. They feel good. The way the sets are designed, it's easy to sell. So yeah, it's nice to see that Union Arena and Gundam are holding steady, even as Pokemon has been slowing down. My stock in Magic the Gathering has been pretty much completely dead. I've sold like one Magic card this month. All my stuff is old, lightly played. It's pretty much just bulk. but even the stuff that's not bulk, like, I don't have a lot. I only have maybe 5,000, but it's still a little bit of a surprise because back in the holidays, 2025, Magic cards were selling pretty consistently. I was selling Magic cards, and then now it's just not the case. I might have to do something with my pricing. Might have to figure something out with that. I don't know exactly what's going on there, but yeah, Magic super slow. I've finally been going through some of this old bulk and listing stuff that I'm not really familiar with, thanks to SortSwift. SortSwift makes it possible for me to actually list stuff that I'm not as comfortable with. So I listed some Dragon Ball Super, I listed some Digimon, like 70 of each. So I don't really know if anything's going to sell out of that when I have such low inventory, but we'll see what happens with those. I've been wanting to get that stuff out of the bulk box and onto the marketplace. I started trying to list the One Piece though, and what a nightmare that is. The way they do reprints where there's like almost nothing to distinguish the cards, they don't have set symbols and stuff like that, like, it is absolutely ridiculous. As someone trying to sell singles, I'm glad I didn't take a risk and buy a lot of One Piece because I can't even figure out what I have. Even, I've figured out that like the reprints have the EN, I guess for English, right next to the copyright symbol. But even beyond that, like, I've got some cards in here that it's like there's absolutely no difference between the variants that it could be. Nothing to signal to me which one it is, and it's like, oh, come on, man. Now, it might just be that I just don't know enough about the game to tell them apart, but I keep running into this, and it got to the point where I was like, I'm not even going to bother listing these. So I've got couple hundred One Piece cards that I'm not really planning to sell. So I'm probably going to put those in a giveaway, and then I don't think I'm going to touch One Piece. It might change in the future if I ever get into sealed stuff, but me selling singles, playable singles, and like stuff for collections, yeah, I don't really want to mess with One Piece. There's just too much friction there when Union Arena is selling, Gundam is selling, Pokemon is selling, and Magic was selling. Hasn't been lately, but we'll see what happens. I've got more Magic that I got to list. Riftbound, I listed some Riftbound and had an order come through that was Riftbound and Pokemon. I found that pretty interesting. I think they were probably both playable cards based on what I saw in the pricing and everything. It's like a Meowth EX and a Scuttle Crab. So I have a feeling that those are playable cards, and so it's interesting to see an overlap between someone playing both games. SortSwift, of course, I should talk about that. I finally invested in some software, and that is the software SortSwift, and I looked through all the options that they had, and I ended up going with the inventory option because I have now 23,000 cards listed, so I need unlimited inventory, and the different bundles that they have didn't offer that, so I just went for the inventory. I'm paying like $50 a month for it, and it is, I love it. Like, I cannot sing praises too high for SortSwift. It allows me to do really, really fast and effective research on cards. It really helps with the research when I'm trying to list stuff and when I'm trying to see what I have and like find potential in my inventory to be able to get a gauge of like, what do I have a lot of stock in? The filters that I can put on just when I'm browsing my inventory to educate myself about what I have going on, so much stronger than what TCG Player offers. It's crazy. And the more that I am working under the hood and I'm seeing what's possible with scanning and auto pricing and integration with like Shopify and stuff like that, it's really exciting. And it's made me finally feels like there's potential to actually turn this into a real business instead of just this TCG player side hustle thing that I've been doing. Like now I'm like, oh, I can connect this into Shopify and I can start building a legitimate like organization with scalable systems and stuff like that. So SortSwift has been a huge unlock. It speeds up listing, the types of all the views that I can take into my inventory and different filters and stuff like that. I'm excited to like test and see, can I filter stuff by artist, and can I filter stuff by, or I know I can filter stuff by reverse hollow and stuff like that. So it is so much better than just raw TCG player, and it's crazy. And I understand that I guess they're having some problems, so it's not a full integration with TCG player. So I have had to build some kind of silly redundant systems just to make sure that I get my stuff onto TCG player. But it's like, as soon as this demand generation with the videos and everything takes off, and as soon as I feel confident about launching a Shopify and then getting traffic there and everything, I am looking forward to the day that I can get off a TCG player, because as much as it is a great place to start, it is a terrible place to try to scale and try to like build a sustainable enterprise, because the tools are so poor. They are so poorly suited for a professional retail operation. And then with the fees, and then how draconian they are about not allowing you to do any sort of marketing or advertising, like, it's crazy. It's getting to the point where it's really not worth it. And the shipping issues, I've talked about this stuff in another video, but like, this is one of the big things on the horizon for me is I don't want my business to be even on TCG player in the future. And the only way that I can make that possible is to start laying the infrastructure now to make that transition happen in the future. And so that's where investing in SortSwift, learning that, and then launching this YouTube channel, both of those things pretty much resulted from my desire to get off of TCG player. I'm still on there for now. It's the only place I'm selling for right now. I'm fighting the temptation to go and start selling on eBay instead, because I think the right move for me is going to be to migrate to Shopify and just start building an email list and do all that and everything. So this channel has been an experiment. I released something today where I'm just talking about, kind of what I'm learning as I'm running this channel. I'm pretty optimistic. I think it's going to go well, better than any channel I've done before. I have a much better grasp of how YouTube works now than I have in the past. And by forcing myself to just go through a grind of making dozens of videos, most of which I threw away and deleted and didn't do anything with. And then finally I shot 20 videos like this where I just yapped, and I started building the skill of the yap, which I still have yet to master, but I'm getting better at it. This has been a massive productivity unlock. I always talk about buy back your time, buy back your time, buy back your time. Learning how to yap so that I don't have to do a bunch of editing to my videos, that alone has probably been like the next highest leverage thing next to SortSwift, because the amount of friction involved in the video creation process for me and how in my head I get about it, it's crazy. And so being able to just literally turn on the camera and just start talking and fill the space with confidence and not kind of lose my train of thought the way that I have in the past, and accepting that like the little mistakes I make and the pauses and stuff are not really a big deal for the type of content I'm making. Huge unlock. I think there's going to be a lot of potential with this channel in me being able to make a high volume of videos to make myself impossible to ignore and impossible to forget. And once I do that, then I can move to Shopify in confidence. The future's bright. I'm very excited. But yeah, I mean, going back to like what happened in July, and what's happening right now and this week. We're in the summer slump, Pokemon 30 and Rayquaza set coming up. I think that explains a lot of the slowness in Pokemon. And again, anybody like my Riftbound and Pokemon order that I got earlier, anybody who's a fan of multiple TCGs, including Pokemon, they have Pokemon on their radar too, and they only have so much money to spend. So the combination of summer and Pokemon, and we've got the Ocarina of Time announcement that came out, and so some people are budgeting to buy a Switch 2 and get the Ocarina of Time remake and get Oblivion on Switch 2 and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff is happening in adjacent spaces that's pulling money away from cards. I don't think it's going to last forever, but you've got all that happening. Plus, it's today, now that it's after midnight, it's August 3rd, people just paid rent, paid mortgages, paid utility bills. And so that compounds with the slowness. So I'm seeing some people asking like, oh, what's wrong with my store? What's wrong with what's wrong with the market? What's happening? Yes, I think the market is cooling. Yes, I think people are getting tired of the craziness. Yes, I think some scalpers, quote unquote scalpers, have finally suffered the consequences of their actions, and if they have messed with leverage or anything like that, or made foolish decisions around what they were doing by just going and buying stuff at MSRP and trying to flip it. Like, I think a lot of people are beginning to learn some hard and expensive lessons with that. So that's going to contribute to some slowdown and some transformation. And I mean, the TCGs are adjusting to what's happening in the market and what is and is not required to keep people happy. So yeah, a lot of stuff's happening. I do think that we are in a time of change. Do I think that it's going to crash? I'm really not educated enough to have an opinion on that. I do think that it's going to slow down though. And, I just saw another store open up in my town, like a mile or two away from a store that only very recently opened up. And when I went into that other store that opened up a couple months ago, and I walked in there, I was like, they didn't really have any stock, and it was all like, it literally was scalpers. It wasn't like, there are legitimate game stores in town, and I love them, and I go to them, and I buy from them. This was not one of those. It was scalpers, like literally. And as I started to learn a little bit more in the community about the people who were running the store, they were like, yeah, those are the guys that, like, it's like 5 or 10 guys that are all involved in the store, and they all camp out at the Sam's Club and Costco and Walmart and stuff like that, and they scoop up all the MSRP. So I think guys like that are in for some pain with just some of the way that things have been changing. We've got all this PSA stuff happening. It's crazy. People are getting angry, understandably so. So yeah, we're in a time of change for sure. What that means for me, it doesn't really change anything because I don't mess with sealed. I don't do any investing. I don't buy stuff at MSRP. I buy bulk. Bulk stays steady. That's the thing about bulk, is that it holds its value. Like, it doesn't really change. As some things drift out of bulk, other things drift down into bulk. So that's just kind of, I like to build businesses around predictable anchors, stuff that's lower risk, stuff that's anti-fragile, so that like during shakeups and tumultuous times, there's opportunities to continue making money and I don't get totally destabilized. That's just how I prefer to build. And so being able to just buy and sell bulk and profit off of bulk, and then now getting the confidence to go out into my community and connect with people to buy collections and buy more chase cards at 70%, 75%. I'm starting to really establish this. I've solved my inventory problem. When I was trying to do this before, one of my biggest obstacles was, how am I going to get inventory? How am I going to get inventory? I've largely figured that out for now. Is it going to be the perfect system forever? I don't know. Probably not. I don't have enough experience in this to know what is on the horizon. But for right now, it seems pretty probable that it's going to be a good investment of my time to continue to optimize my operations to make bulk more scalable and profitable, and to make collection buying more scalable and more profitable. I think I've talked about this in other videos. As part of my advertising strategy, I'm planning to actually run ads to buy bulk. What I've learned from just all my business endeavors is that there's the demand pyramid. There's something called the demand pyramid, and I always get the numbers wrong, but it's something like 3% of a market at any given time is like actively searching to buy the thing that market sells. And then you've got another like 10% that is thinking about buying or like open to buying, but they're still in the discovery phase, they're still in the learning phase, they're still in the decision phase. So they might be able to be convinced and it's like on their mind, but they're not like looking to spend the money right now. And then there's another section of the market, probably another like 17 to 25%, that is aware that this stuff is out there, that is open to it when the time comes, but they are not actively looking. They're not really thinking about it at all. They can be won over with the right deal, but they're not looking for the thing right now. And then the largest percentage of the market, something like 50 to 60% of the market, 70% of the market that can be sold to, just isn't aware that there are things that they want or need that they can afford from people that they have access to. And so I have learned to do most of my work deeper in the demand pyramid instead of fighting everybody else for the easiest people at the top of the demand pyramid who are opportunity aware. I'm going to frame it a little bit different for TCGs, but who are opportunity aware and brand aware and actively looking to make a purchase. Everybody's fighting over those people, and the only way you can really compete in that section of the demand pyramid is on price, and to a certain extent on quality of service or speed of service and stuff like that. But it's in a commodity world, in a commodity market, pretty much all you can do is compete on price, and I just don't want to do that. I don't want to keep being the cheapest guy and keep selling because I'm the cheapest guy. And so that means I need to start working deeper in the demand pyramid. But the same thing applies to bulk. So the people selling bulk who are likely to make a listing on any marketplace platform and take photos and assign a price and actually call it bulk, those people are going to want, they're likely going to have sifted a lot of the value out, and they're going to want more per card because they're informed sellers looking to sell to informed buyers. That's the highest cost transaction to make. And so what I believe and what I'm going to test is, can I run ads to generate demand around the idea of selling me bulk in my community to start getting people that are deeper in that. It's basically an equivalent to a demand pyramid, but it's more for the buyer's side, people who want to sell stuff rather than people who want to buy stuff. I got to put myself out there, advertise myself as a buyer to people that may be willing to sell bulk, but just aren't thinking about it. Or maybe have cards and don't even know what bulk means because they just have cards on a shelf that they haven't looked at in a long time. Those people can be reached, but I got to get creative about how I reach them. And that is where the best deals are going to be. It's not going to be the people watching these YouTube videos where my videos are getting recommended to them. It's definitely not the people listing on Amazon or eBay Definitely not the people listing bulk on Marketplace. Those are not the people that are going to give me the best deals on the largest amounts of bulk. It's going to be the people that, again, can be reached, but just aren't thinking about it right now, aren't actively participating in the market. So I got to find out how to reach them. I'm going to test out targeted content, ads, stuff like that on the collector side of the channel, not on this of the business, not on this side. This content is going to stay focused on this type of stuff. But on the collector side, I think I'm going to do some content to try to generate some demand that way, run some ads. I really want to establish inbound opportunities to buy Gundam, Sorcery, and Union Arena. Those are probably the three areas that I'm most excited about, because there's just less people playing in those spaces, like on the business side, and I want to get into that for sure. I want to get there. Plus, I love Union Arena. I love Sorcery. I really like the Gundam as a product. I want to learn more about Dragon Ball Super because I love Dragon Ball. I just don't know enough about the cards to step into that space with confidence. I don't think I want to mess with One Piece unless something changes there, but that seems like it's going to be a headache. And then Pokemon, of course. Magic, so much is happening in Magic. It's hard to wrap my head around. So I'm sort of just keeping a loose eye on that. Maybe I'll get back into it. If I was going to mess with Sealed, I'd probably be more interested in Magic. But singles, at least at present, I'm not going to be super active there. So what I'm learning recently in the business is, again, the buyback principle, buying back my time, very important, but also patience and equanimity. So equanimity is the ability to stay like even-headed, level-headed, chill under ups and downs and stresses of life and stuff like that. It's important in all things. It's important in all businesses. It's definitely important in a world like the cardboard world where so much change can happen so quickly, but there's cycles. And back several months ago, when I was laying the foundation for this stuff, I was really antsy about the fact that I was listing cards, but they weren't selling. And my perspective on that has completely changed. All of my prices are higher because I want to be a go-to place that people can find almost all of the things that they're looking for to complete their collections. The only way that I can really do that is going to be to migrate to Shopify, where I can curate a stellar shopping experience that's better than TCG Player. But yeah, that's the direction I'm going. So I have listed, at the beginning of July, I had 19,000 cards listed. And now, at the beginning of August, I have 23,000 cards listed. I've sold hundreds of cards this month. I don't know if I sold over 1,000, but I've sold hundreds. Bulk, almost entirely bulk. But again, I did start buying collections, so I started selling illustration rares. $6, $10, $20, $50. Mail. Dude, I don't know what's happening with the mail. That is killing me. I've been ordering cards. Shipments have not been arriving. I don't know if... I know for a fact some of these people are not shipping them because their feedback reflects that they seem to have a pattern of not shipping large bulk orders. But I know some of them probably are shipping them, and the packages are either late or lost. And then now some of my stuff too, now back half of July and going into August, So my stuff is delivering late, and customers are messaging me. I'm getting it out on time. Stuff's arriving late. Some people I've told them just wait a little bit longer, it might show up, and then it showed up. Other people, I'm like, just wait a little longer, it might show up, and then they wait and it doesn't show up, and I got a refund, including like the $20 Meowth. Actually, like, it's one of my favorite cards because I love the art. That artist, I forgot their name, but it's the artist that references the original video games in his art, and so he's got Meowth and Phantasmal Flames laying on a branch in front of Celadon City. I love that card, and it's like $20, and I sold it, and either I got scammed or it didn't show up, and I didn't get the impression that the person was scamming me. I got the impression that they were pretty disappointed their card didn't show up, and they just didn't want to have to pay for something that they didn't receive. So it's frustrating that TCG player, people compare it to eBay shipping with the eBay tracking that's built in and everything like that. That's pretty tempting. But again, the question for me is, do I want to move to eBay, or do I just want to move to Shopify, where I can just actually set shipping settings that I want to have, and I can ship everything tracked in a bubble mailer for $6 and set free shipping over like $35 and set all of my floor prices where I want them, 25 cents for most normal singles, $1 for hollows and reverse hollows. Just get everything in stock so that people can come and finish out their collections in my store, and you know that they're going to get their stuff because it's shipped in bubble mailers with tracking and stuff like that. That's what I want to do, and eBay is probably not going to be the right step for that. So I have to keep reminding myself, don't get distracted, don't get distracted, don't get distracted. The same thing applies with the YouTube channel. I need to get this channel rolling. I need to get this channel off the ground. So I need to build a bank of content. That's what I'm doing right now. I already released a video today, and I'm like literally sitting here with my eyes closed because I'm so tired. But I just want to get this recorded so that I'm a little bit ahead, and I want to get a bank of content up, because what I'm learning from this YouTube launch, where I launched 20 videos on day one, having a body of work above any other possible thing you can do for your YouTube channel seems like, at least for me, the highest leverage thing that I've ever done is just actually build a body of work. And then I look out at the success that TJ over at PokePastor has had. He's done 500 videos in less than 2 years, and he has 15,000 subs. Volume. Just the amount of times that you have shown up and put your stuff out there makes you impossible to ignore and impossible to forget. So that's what I'm learning about this channel. So that's where this format's going to be really helpful. I can get this stuff out, stay on the grind, keep doing the work that's necessary, and build toward the next step. I really want to get distribution, so I'll just throw it out there now. I'm going to start talking about that more in my videos. I'm trying to prepare myself to hopefully land some distributor relationships. I want supplies. I want to be able to list top loaders and like Voltex binders, and I want to list Rob's binders, the Obsidian supplies. I want to sell those. Those look sick. I'm about to buy some and put like my Full Metal Alchemist stuff in there. Those look sick. And I know he does wholesale, so I want to become a vendor for the Obsidian supplies. I want to sell Union Arena. I want to sell Sorcery. I like the Kaio games. I see Bandai is about to release Naruto. I don't know enough about it to have an opinion yet, but I've been impressed with Bandai's stuff recently. Gundam and Union Arena are staples in my business now, and I know that One Piece is fundamental to a lot of other people's business. And then there's a big community of Dragon Ball Super people here in town. It's one of the things, when I go on Facebook Marketplace, there's a couple things I can find. I can find Pokemon, I can find Magic the Gathering, and I can find Dragon Ball Super cards. I can sometimes find Union Arena. I've never seen Sorcery, and I've never looked for Digimon. That's another thing that I listed today, but I'm not planning to do a whole lot with it. I don't know what's going on with Riftbound. Lorcana. Oh, I need to talk about Lorcana. I don't know how much Lorcana I have listed. It's not a lot. I like Lorcana. I like opening it. I like the cards. The chase cards are absolutely gorgeous, but it's not selling. You know, all I'm consistently getting my hands on is bulk with Lorcana, or like all I'm able to get my hands on really consistently is bulk with Lorcana, and the bulk does not sell, at least not for me. It was selling for a while, but it's not selling now. I don't really know what's going on with that. And the I've only pulled one enchanted, and I've got that. I've had that listed for a long time, and it has not sold. So I haven't done enough experimentation with Lorcana to necessarily know definitively if it's a good or bad direction to go in. But just based on opportunity costs, like the experience that I'm gaining in the market and the directions I want to go, Pokemon, most liquid, most stable and secure. I'm 100% going to continue building out my opportunity surface area in Pokemon by acquiring more inventory and listing more stuff and just being very, very aggressive. I've got 23 cards listed, 23,000 cards listed. Like I said, I want to be at least at 50,000 by the end of the year. And then what I would love is to be at 100,000 by the end of the year. But I just don't know if my brain can list 100,000 cards in the next 5 months. Like, I just don't know if my brain can handle it. So I can probably do 25,000, but 75,000, I don't think I can list 75,000 cards in the next 5 months without losing my mind. But even if I can get to 30 or 40, I want to get to where I've got at least 5,000 different cards in Pokemon. I've got like 2,700 like unique cards in Pokemon. I want to get to where I have like 5,000. And I definitely want to increase my assortment in Gundam and Union Arena. I'm very small in those. I want to build an inroad for those. So if you have Gundam or Union Arena and you are wondering where you can sell it, I'll buy your bulk. I've got some standard pricing. If you're shipping, we can work something out. Just like add me on or visit the website. I'll link my website, and there's a contact form there. Just hit me up on the contact form and say, hey, I want to sell you some Gundam, or I want to sell you some Union Arena. I will buy your Gundam and your Union Arena for sure. I'll buy your Pokemon too, but and Sorcery. I will 100% buy your Sorcery. I'm circling the drain now. I'm tired. I'm rambling. A lot of opportunities. A lot of stuff on the horizon. The stuff I'm not talking about right now is like books and manga. That is a direction I absolutely want to go once I get on Shopify. And I have, I believe, figured out some sourcing, particularly for manga, which is really exciting. That's the thing that I'm like really, really looking forward to. It's just, I think it's kind of an untapped territory and a nice adjacent thing to cards that I think will have different demand fluctuations than cards, and so it'll build some anti-fragility into the business. Going to continue being pretty aggressive about acquiring and listing Pokemon, Union Arena, Gundam. Want to get more Sorcery listed. Gonna just observe. I'm staying out of sealed. I'm just continuing to stay out of sealed because I don't want to wait the amount of time that's going to be required for me to wait to generate cash flow off of appreciation in sealed product, because the only way that I can acquire sealed is on the secondary market, and I would be willing to buy on the secondary market if I had $5,000 a month to throw down, but I don't have $5,000 a month to throw down on stuff that can appreciate over time. So until I reach that point, I'm not really going to mess with sealed, or until I get some sort of distribution or something set up. Yeah, I think that's a good place to call it. The future's bright. I'm looking forward to Pokemon 30th. I just want to see what's in it. I don't think I'm going to buy any, because I don't think I'm going to be able to find it anywhere. I'm not going to wait on PokemonCenter.com all day to try to get any product at retail. I don't know if it's going to hit stores at all. If it does, I know it's going to be a bloodbath, so I'm not even going to bother. And I don't want to pay inflated prices. So if I rip anything, it's going to be Union Arena, Sorcery, Gundam, or like stuff like Chaos Rising, Perfect Order. But I'm at a point where I'm probably not going to rip unless it's for the channel. But I am looking forward. If any of you are going to be making content about Pokemon 30th, I'll be watching. If any of you are going to be making content about the Rayquaza set, there is a Shinji Kanda coming in the Rayquaza set. So I am looking forward to that. Sableye. So that'll be good. Something I can add to the collection. There's a Shinji Kanda in Gundam, in the fifth expansion of Gundam. So I would love to get my hands on that. So yeah, I mean, if you got Shinji Kanda, if you got Tomokazu Kamiya, I'll buy that stuff too for sure. And so August stuff. What am I doing in August in particular for building? The email list is set up. So I think what my focus for August is going to be is largely I'm going to keep acquiring and listing product, and I'm going to focus on this channel and building an email list. And what I want to do is I want to establish a revenue floor that will cover the cost consistently of SortSwift, including the upgrades that I want to make in SortSwift, which it is a pretty expensive software, but it's worth it. So I want to establish a revenue floor on TCG Player to cover those expenses and to cover the expenses of Shopify before I take the risk on Shopify. And then I also just know the nature of business and this business and me. I'm not going to count on going viral organically. I know that the only way I'm going to be able to get Shopify to take off is to spend money on ads. So I have to budget for that too. And that means I'm going to have to take the money from TCG Player, reinvest it in ads to drive traffic to Shopify, and then start generating sales on Shopify. So I probably won't launch the website this month. Instead, I just want to build critical mass on an email list so that I have an audience, so that I have a launch pad. So that's the focus. Keep making videos, keep building the email list. I'm going to launch giveaways soon, maybe this month. It's going to be small stuff. It's going to be stuff like the One Piece that I don't want to sell. It's going to be stuff like Japanese and Chinese Pokemon singles, and mostly bulk, that I just don't have much to do with. So I'll pack it up and I'll ship it out to people that want to sift through some foreign language bulk and pick out some of their favorites. Start with stuff like that, give away some singles, stuff like that too, and kind of build from there. So that's the big plan for August, is to just stay on the channel and build that email list. So if you want to get on the email list, visit list.getdkc.com. I'm not going to start sending emails there yet, but anybody who does join the list, you will be notified once giveaways go live on how to opt in for giveaways. And then anybody who opts in for the giveaway, I currently am planning to keep you in the giveaway pool indefinitely. I might have to do a new one. I'll have to look into all the laws and stuff. I might have to do a new one each year or something like that. But I mean, if you get on the list and then when I launch the giveaways, you get on the giveaway list, you'll be on there for at least the rest of this year. And it's going to be all just small stuff and stuff like that. But I'm going to hopefully be able to give away some sealed around the holidays. That's what I'm hoping to be able to do. We'll see how all this grows, though. Shout out in the comments. Let me know what you want me to cover. I have had some people starting to reach out directly asking for like advice and coaching in this business area. So you can email me by visiting the website. You can get in touch with me that way. You can follow me on Instagram and message me there, and we can have discussions. And once I get a decent amount of people in my DMs and in my emails and stuff, I'll consider doing a Discord. I just don't want to launch a Discord too soon. So I will let you all decide when the Discord comes. I've said enough. Buy some cardboard from me at www.getdkc.com. Thanks.